You know, sometimes our last reveal at the Game Awards is a teaser for something years and years away. Not tonight. Our final world premiere comes from 61 members of the team that built Apex Legends and Titanfall. 4 years ago, the principals founded a new independent studio with the hopes of pushing the shooter genre forward with a new original game. They've done it in complete secrecy, which is even more amazing because the game is very deep into development. The power of independent, self-published studios to push this medium forward is a growing and I think positive theme in our industry. So tonight, you're not only going to get the announcement of the game, but also your first look at the gameplay. I've played it, and after you see this trailer, I think you're going to want to as well. Welcome to Highguard.
Highguard was revealed as the final game of the Game Awards just after the Mega Man Duel Override announcement, leading us to believe that it will be the next big release. And less than a month later, it already feels like a game from another timeline. Not controversial, not broken, not offensive, just forgotten. And honestly, that's worse.
If I didn't remind you right now, you probably forgot this game even exists.
Highguard didn't flop because it was ugly, it didn't flop because it was buggy, it didn't flop because of politics or culture wars.
It flopped because nobody was waiting for it, and that's the real crime in modern gaming.
We live in a market that doesn't reward fine. It rewards obsession, memes, tribalism, or outright hate. Highguard show up politely and the internet doesn't reward politeness.
And let's be honest, ending the Game Awards with Highguard was a choice.
Perhaps some will find me negative in saying this, but one of the reasons I'm making this video is because the video game press is increasingly losing credibility. Look, often seems that what press praises is what we criticize, and vice versa. People expected Persona 6, news about Kingdom Hearts 4, a new God of War, or Half-Life 3 because we're delusional. Even the leaked Resident Evil Requiem reveal would have landed better. Instead, we got from the creators of Apex Legends and Titanfall energy. Prestige by association, not by identity. What's even more regrettable is how one day is all it took.
Yes, one day.
For the supposed creators to be ashamed and remove that from the creators of Apex Legends and Titanfall label from their store page.
You heard me right, that's not confidence, that's damage control. And it says more than any review ever could.
And when you give a game the final slot, you're telling the audience, this matters more than everything you've seen tonight. Highguard didn't earn that. That's why the dislikes matter. Not because people hate it, because they felt it didn't deserve the spotlight. To my surprise, it was revealed it was originally going to be a shadow drop, but that Doritos Pope wanted it at the Game Awards. They didn't pay for that and quickly offered them the main event. I really think few will turn down an offer like that, so we can blame them. But this made it clear that their original idea to give them time for preparations and exposure would have been a quieter approach rather than a more publicity-driven one.
There was a time when being revealed at the Game Awards meant something. And now if you play your cards wrong, it could end up being a deal with the devil.
In 2026, games don't compete for money, they compete for attention. And Highguard barely made eye contact. It exists in the most dangerous space possible. Too expensive to be charming, too safe to be exciting, too generic to be memorable. It's not indie, it's not AAA spectacle, it's not experimental, it's not nostalgic.
It's a comedy game and nobody makes emotional attachments to comedy decisions.
It's curious that after the initial bad reception, which intrigued some to be fair, nothing more was heard about the game. From December 12th to January 23rd, suspicious isn't it? But in the end they stood firm and showed their showcase. The Doritos Pope seemed to have some kind of ulterior motive, as if he'd been paying as many rumored. But after seeing how he talked and tweeted about the game over and over again, that's what made one think. But it was revealed he truly loved the game.
Highguard feels like a game designed 3 years ago, for an audience that moved on. By the time it released, the conversation had already changed.
At launch, Highguard peaked at around 97,000 players. Within 24 hours, 15,000. Now, hovering around 5 to 6,000. That drop isn't hate, it's apathy.
Apathy is death, worse than death, because at least a rotting corpse feeds the beasts and insects.
People didn't rage quit, they just left. And the complaints keep coming. Gameplay issues, character optimization problems, frame rate drops, and long wait times due to the low player count. But let's move on because I don't want to drag this out. Wasn't I the only one who found Kickley's tweet the next day hilarious? Some outlets like PC Gamer said, it's okay if you ignore the negativity. That's not a defense. That's not a warning. They said similar things about Concord, and we know how that ended. In 2026, trusting the press blindly makes less sense than ever. Not because they're evil, but because they're often disconnected from how players actually feel. It's perfectly valid if Doritos Pope was among the minority who liked the game, but certainly he needed outside opinions. Point is that letting their own preferences guide them so much, they end up ruining the game in the studio. It was ultimately counterproductive.
This isn't malice, it's misalignment.
Again, I don't like to sound so negative about this because I haven't played it and I don't plan to, but it lost most of its players in a short time for a reason, like the YouTuber I follow, the Ackman, who explains why he wouldn't play Black Ops 7.
Some of you watching might be thinking, well, Ackman, how can you criticize this game if you're not even playing it? Here's the thing. If I'm walking down the street and I see poop on the sidewalk, I don't need to bend down and like... Oh yeah, smells like poop. That's poop, all right. I know shit when I see it. I don't need to smell it.
Highguard tries to mix too many things from too many games of this style. By trying to be a little bit of everything, you end up not being special at anything.
And here's the uncomfortable truth.
If Highguard had been shadow dropped or announced quietly or marketed honestly, it probably would have been fine. Not hated, not mocked, just alive. But it was framed as important, and importance has a price. Highguard wasn't unlucky, it was mistimed. I like the Game Awards and I will continue to attend, but I can't deny that it often feels like propaganda. Whether for money or due to the host preferences, it's clear that if the hype is inflated to an enormous degree, others end up paying the price, even losing their jobs. The press can also inflate things they like or even get paid for. Here comes the negativity again. But I don't think they will escape this situation. Let's not forget it's a free-to-play game, so there won't be much profit. A regular announcement would probably be a different story, perhaps even a successful one, but what's true and what's curious is that if the event hadn't ended, we wouldn't be talking about this game. This is a Spider-Man-esque lesson, knowing what to choose, knowing what to say and when.
So what do you think? Was it dumb at the moment it closed the Game Awards? Or did it simply ask for attention it didn't earn? Let me know, I'm genuinely curious. Don't forget to subscribe, share and like. See ya!